Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got an awesome one for you today. We've got a little team section with some interactive team member sites there. When you hover over the image of the team member, it's going to reveal some information about them and their social media profiles, etc. Really easy to do and great interactive thing to have on your website. So let me show you what's going on. So here we have it. We've got a little section here with our little 3 team members in there. We've got an image, and at the bottom of the image, you've got a little mouse icon indicating that something is going to happen there. When I hover over, it's going to pop in with his name, his position, little something about him, and links to his social media profile there. When I take my mouse off, it's going to go back. And the same, these right here. And these will work perfectly on tablet and mobile also if I hit my F12 key. Here it is on an iPad Air. There's our first fellow. We got that little icon there. If we click on it, it's going to pop up with his info. If we click off, it's going to drop down. There's the second young lady. Her name and info. Let's have a quick look on the iPhone. And there it is. Let's go down to our third member here. The owner, Mike Smith. And again, when we click off, it's going to go back to how it was. Nice little interactive section. So let's get started. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to enable my visual builder. And let's roll on down. I'll add a new row. Little green button to add a new row. I'll put 3 columns in this one again. We're going to roll down and use a little person module. There it is right there. Now you've got an option to put in the image in the top. If I roll this up so you can see a little better. Put the name in there. Whatever they are. Now, if you want their social media little icons and links to their site, you've got to put the link to their Facebook, X and LinkedIn pages here. I've got no real link, so I'm just going to put in a hashtag for a placeholder. As you can see, as I'm putting those in, they're showing up down at the bottom there. Down below, you can put in whatever information you'd like to put about your team member there. I'm going to leave it just as it is, as this is a fictitious person. Now, as we're going to use the image to initially be their full screen, I'm not going to use an image there. So in the image, I'm just going to get rid of that placeholder they've got. Great. If you want to, you can link the whole module somewhere. I'm not going to do that today, but if you wanted to link it to a profile page of theirs, you could do right there. And then anywhere where they clicked on here, other than the social media icons, would take them there. Okay, I'm going to give it a black background just initially. Now let's go over to the design tab. Our icons are our little social media icons there. You can make them any color you wish. You can make them bigger or smaller with the icon font size here. We're not using an image, so I'm going to skip over that one. The text, I'm going to put it in the middle there. This general text right here will do both the title and the body text together, as well as the position text. But of course, you can do those individually as well. As you can see down here, title text. Let's make that capital perhaps, and perhaps make it semi-bold, make it stand out. And again, you can make it bigger or smaller if you want to. Of course, Divi's got a huge amount of fonts. If you want to check them out, just roll over one. It will give you an example. I'm going to leave mine on the default today. Great. Let's move on down. Body text. Let's make that white in color perhaps. I'll leave it the size that it is. And position text. Let's perhaps make that same color. And again, let's make it semi-bold so it stands out a little bit better. That's great. Okay, rolling on down, I'm going to skip over sizing. I'm going to go into spacing. I'm going to give it some padding top and bottom. I'm actually going to give it quite a lot. I'm going to put 150 pixels there. I'm going to hit the chain and do the bottom. We can always adjust this in a moment. Now let's give it a bit left and right so that text is not quite so squished up in there. Give it 30 left and hit the chain and do the same for the right. That'll work fine. Okay, I'm going to leave that like that just for the moment. Let's go back to our content now and down to background. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to take this opacity slider just down a little bit. The reason I'm doing this, I want to see where my image is when it comes in behind it, and that's what we're going to do next. Let's save this. If you watch any of my image text hover effects videos, you're going to know what's going to happen next. I'm going to go into the row. I'm going to go into column 1. I'm going to go into the background here. I'm going to add an image. And select whichever image you want. Now, because I brought that opacity down, we can see how that image is fitting there. And it's okay, I want it to cover, don't want any parallax on it. I'm actually going to have it top center. That way when it reduces down to an iPad, you'll still be able to see his face. That's great. And while we're here, I'm going to go over to the advanced. I'm going to hide any overflow. So we're in advanced, visibility. Here's horizontal and vertical overflow. The reason I'm doing this is I can set that a fixed height for that. Because if you've got different amounts of text in there, it's going to be a different height. And that way, although we've got lots of padding on the bottom and the top, anything that falls out of the bottom there will not be seen if we hide this. So we should be good to go there. Great. So while we're in here, I'm going to do exactly the same for our next 2 columns. In fact, I'm going to go in, I'm going to say extend item styles to this row. That way we'll have images already in there and the overflow hidden. I can just go in to each column now and change the background image. And the reason we can't see them is because there's no content in there. I'm going to save this back to the main row settings, go into number 3 and just switch out that picture in number 3 also. Well, let's save everything, save the row settings. We'll go back into our little module now, because initially I just want to see a nice clear picture of this young fella. The dark tab for the module. Going to go back down in under content, the background there. Just going to darken it down a little bit, because when they hover over it and this comes in, I want them to be able to see it, but I want them to still get a hint of that picture behind there. So that works well for me. Now to create a hover effect. Let's go over to our design tab. As I'm sure you're aware, hover effects are a fantastic thing to have on a desktop site. But when you're on a tablet or mobile, you have to tap on them rather than hover over them. On a desktop, when they hover their mouse over it, it's going to happen automatically. But nothing's going to happen on a tablet and mobile till they actually tap it. So we've actually added a little icon there for tablet and mobile to indicate that something's going to happen if they tap on it. Nice little addition, really easy to do. Now to create this effect, I'm going to go down to the filters. I'm going to roll down to opacity, which is going to make it more opaque. If I roll this all the way down, we've got that nice image of the fella. If I roll it back up, we've got the details right there. Now to create the hover effect, and this is common to all Divi modules, if you roll over the dark writing within a module, you'll see some little icons appear. I'm going to hit the little arrow right there. I'm going to click on the tab that says hover here. Hover is obviously when the mouse is on it. So when they hover on it, I want it to come back just like it is, 100%. And if we click the desktop, when the mouse is not on it, I want it to be invisible, so we just got that image. Perfect. Now the time it takes to get from desktop to hover, by default with Divi, is 300 milliseconds. If we go over to advanced, and down to transitions, there's the default 300. If you want to speed it up, 300 is pretty quick, just under a third of a second, you can move it to the left. If you want to slow it down, move it to the right. Or of course you can type in a value. I like mine to be fairly gradual for a bit of drama. And the transition speed curve I like to use for mine is ease in, ease out. And we should be pretty much good to go. So let's just save this. Now what I'm going to do, so I'm going to go to back-end mode, hit the little purple button down the bottom. Little icon left-hand side, wireframe mode. There's our little person module. I'm going to copy him, hit the 2 little squares to duplicate. I'm going to pull one over, doesn't matter which, they're both identical. I'm going to do the same again. We've got one in each there. Now, just to finish this off, I'm going to add a little icon underneath just to indicate that something's going to happen if you tap on it. So we can go back to desktop view or whichever view you prefer. And I'm going to add a little icon. So if we roll down, here's our little icon. I think I've searched for a mouse before, or you could do a hand with a click. Something like that. I think I quite like that mouse, but that's entirely up to you. And there it is. It's appeared on the bottom there. Don't want it to link. I don't want it to have a background. I will turn it white though. Over in design, icon white. I'll take it down quite a little bit in size. I want it to be noticeable though. But when we hover over, we're going to have a gap there of the background of this where the little icon is. So I'm going to absolutely position it. To do that, we can go over to the advanced, to position, and instead of the default, I'm going to change it to absolute. It's popped it up into the top right corner there, or top left corner I should say. I want it to be on the bottom. Let's just offset it a little bit vertically so it comes up just a little bit, not too much. About there works for me. Now let's save the changes. We still got a little bit left on the bottom there. As you see, when I hover over, there's a gap where that little icon is. So what I'm going to do is take away any margin from the bottom of our little person module here. So I'm going to go back into the person module. Going to go over to design, down to spacing, margin bottom. I'm going to put a 0. As you can see, that's shortened that up the same size as our ones next door here. We'll save that. Now when I hover over, you don't get that little gap at the bottom there. Perfect. Now just to save us doing it on the other modules, I'm going to right click on this module. I'm going to say extend the person styles because at the moment they're all the same in these two columns. And I'm going to go for this row. That way we've no margin on the ones that are in these two. Now I'm going to go to back-end mode. Well, you don't have to, but I find it easier to go to back-end mode. And I'm going to duplicate our little icon here a couple of times. And if you wanted to, you could actually hide this on desktop over in visibility there. I'm happy for it to be there all the time then. Let's go back to desktop. We'll roll on down. And we'll just go in and change the names here. I won't change anything else. Just so it says something different on each one. I'm sure you'd have real characters on yours. Okay, well let's save our changes now. We should be good to go. Save draft or publish if you're ready. And let's exit the visual builder. And let's roll on down. There's our first little fella right there. When we hover over it, it's going to get his detail. You can go to his social media pages. Same with the next one. And same with the next one. And of course, as you saw earlier, it'll work perfectly on tablet and mobile. And we've got those little icons there to indicate that something's going to happen when you hover over. Perfect. So there you go, guys. There's how to create a nice little team section with some interactive hover images for your Divi website. As you can see, really easy to do and a fantastic feature to have on your site. Anything that makes your visitors interact with your site has got to be a good thing. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. There'll be plenty of more videos coming. If you enjoyed our hover effects, take a look at our hover effects playlist there. There's plenty more on there and you're bound to find something that you will like. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.